Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that segment.
Yes.
Now we're going to talk about something a little bit more boring, but it needs to be talked about.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds like a Viagra commercial.
It does, yeah.
We're going to talk about edge banding.
Yes.
But you know what? At least we're not talking about sanding.
That's true.
I am so tired of talking about sanding. It's nice to talk about something else. So, anyway, when you're talking edge banding or an automatic edge bander, you're talking about material that is applied either by hand or by machine to the edge of a piece of wood.
Got it.
Melamine, plywood. You wouldn't do it to hardwood because you wouldn't need an edge band on it.
No hardwood, huh?
No hardwood. No,
Okay.
no hardwood on tonight's show. All composite board.
Okay,
Sorry.
very good.
You seem to be obsessed with wood.
No, I'm not obsessed with wood, trust me.
All right. Edge banding, in general, comes in different shapes and sizes. Okay. It's available to cover boards from 1/2 inch to 2.5 inches normally, unless it's special order. And it's available in PVC,
2.5 inches thick?
2.5 inches wide.
Wow.
1 mil thick. It's available in a real wood veneer,
I see.
which is actually finger jointed in a length, but you don't even notice if they do it so well.
What do you mean by finger joining?
Well, you know, it's when the boards are cut like that.
Oh, I see.
And then they're spliced together. Because
Okay.
obviously you're not going to have a tree that's this long.
That's true.
You know, it has to be done in pieces.
I see.
This is PVC,
Okay.
and I believe that stands for polyvinyl chloride, but Ken would know for sure.
Yes, he
That's
would.
why I miss Ken.
Or Danny.
I really do. Or Danny, yes. And then there's also melamine edge tape. Now, melamine edge tape it's okay, but it's brittle. So if you were to edge band a board like this, and you're in a shop situation, you get all your boards edge banded with melamine on it, and you got them all stacked up, and the pile slides.
Oh, I see.
These are all going to get chipped, and the melamine's going to chip, and it's going to show color. So
that's no
it's
good.
not really good.
That's not
With the PVC, it'll still be damaged, but it'll dent, so
Okay.
you won't even notice that it's damaged.
Okay.
There's pre-glued, which is this material here, and it's got glue, hot melt glue, applied to the backside.
Okay.
And this is done with big automatic machines
Now, why would you want the glue on there ahead of time?
to use with a hot air machine.
I see. So
Now-
there's different kinds of edge banders.
Yeah, there's different kinds of, and
got
actually
it.
you can even put it on with an iron.
Okay.
Now, you can't put PVC on with an iron, but you could apply wood veneer with a household iron, actually. They make edge banding irons which are narrow and get to the right temperature, but you can actually apply it in a pinch with an iron.
No kidding.
So this is pre-glued, and it's basically the same glue that's in the glue pot of a glue pot machine.
Okay.
And a glue pot machine is an edge bander that has the pellets or cartridge or something in it that melts the glue and applies it to the banding as it's pulling through.
So each time you're going to have to purchase the glue and the banding.
Yeah, you buy your banding.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to get your banding one of two ways. It's either going to be for a price without glue or a little bit more price with glue.
I see.
You're going to pay the same amount regardless. okay?
Once you buy the glue and the
That's correct,
PVC,
exactly.
okay.
Now, there's different kinds of banders, and we're talking about hot melt and glue pot. And it depends on what you really want to do if you need a hot melt or a glue pot bander.
Okay.
A glue pot bander traditionally is far, far more expensive than a hot air bander. It has more workstations on it, so they have trim stations, they have buff stations, they have scrape stations, they can bevel, they can angle, they can do anything, and they're usually 20 feet long and they cost $80,000.
Wow.
But if you want to get into a good glue pot bander, you're probably going to be in the $15,000 to $18,000 range.
Oh, really?
Right. A hot air bander that would do comparable work, okay, not the same, but comparable work, would be in the $7,000 to $8,000 range.
Well, that's quite a bit less.
Oh, it is. I mean,
Yeah.
so from an investment standpoint, it's much less. But a hot air bander does do less for you, so you have to decide what's important to you. One thing that it will not do is it will not apply high-pressure laminate.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Not in the banders that we're talking about. Now, Veritex has an EB35 bander, which will apply, and I don't want to confuse all of you, but there's a lot of things to talk about with banding. But it will apply a pre-glued high-pressure laminate piece, a strip, but it can only be applied one at a time, and it's just an applicator. It doesn't trim those. So, in my opinion, the most bang for the buck is the EP25 if you're talking a hot air bander.
Okay.
Now, hot air banders is all we sell. If you want a glue pot bander, I would say talk to the professionals that know glue pot banders, and there's a lot of them out there. Glue pot banders are great machines. Hot air banders are great machines. We happen to sell hot air banders because it's something that we can sell mail order, and I've never not been able to work out a problem over the phone with a reasonably intelligent fabricator on the other end with the machine.
Okay.
Okay. So, getting back to the banding, in the wood veneer.
Explain something real quick.
Right.
High pressure laminate banding, is that, I mean, would that be similar to just taking a piece of Formica and cutting a strip off?
That's the only way you would do it.
That's the way you do it.
You don't
Okay.
purchase it. You actually take strips, sheets, and you cut it on either, like we sell our Marvell slitter, we carry
There
a
you go.
Veritech slitter,
Okay.
different types of slitting machines that will slit it into pieces.
I see.
All right?
I see.
The wood veneer is really cool because it's available pre-glued and pre-finished.
Okay.
And popular right now is purchasing wood veneer plywood, a good plywood that's all pre-finished.
Okay.
So you cut it to size, make your shelves, and then you can apply a pre-finished edge banding.
And once you're done, you got yourself a shelf, or you got yourself an end panel, or whatever you need to use it
That's
for.
right.
Well, that's great.
Now, one thing that you do have to consider is that your edge banding goes on wider than your board, and it trims.
I see.
So when it trims, it's taking the finish off the top and bottom edge.
Okay.
But all you have to do is have just a rag with some lacquer on it, clear lacquer, and then just run it along the top and bottom, and that's it. Set it in the pile and it's done.
Wow, that saves a lot of time.
Now, the type of person or the type of shop that would use an edge bander, especially an automatic edge bander, would be probably our biggest customer is a 1 to 5 man shop.
Okay.
One of the things that a lot of guys don't realize when they think about a bander, they just look at the price and they go, oh, it's too expensive. I can put a guy on it. Well, a small shop, the amount of money that you can make in a week is directly proportionate to the amount of material that you can ship out the door in a week.
Absolutely.
Now, you
Yep.
can put on more guys and do more, or you can increase your production by putting a machine on. The machine's there every day. It should work every day.
It doesn't complain.
Doesn't complain, what have you.
There you
But
go.
the nice thing about a bander is that anybody can operate it, unless you get into the big banders. The big banders is a whole nother story. You really need a tech on them.
Okay.
But a small hot air bander for a small shop can be run by basically anybody. They're very simplistic. There's very few moving parts, and I think it's a great way to go.
So you think like this machine here, you could train me in probably how long? I mean,
Well, you're saying this machine here. Our audience can't see that we have a machine sitting off
Oh, I
stage, but
understand,
we're going to be demonstrating that machine in just a few minutes.
Yep.
But yes, basically anybody can be trained, even you, to use it in just a few minutes.
Okay.
And do
Okay.
a good job. Okay. Most shops that are going to use a bander, like I said, are 1 to 5 man, but big shops use them as well. I'm talking about a small hot air bander, not
Okay.
the big banders. The big
Okay.
banders are for the big guys, really.
Right.
That are doing a lot of high volume production. Although we do sell banders to people like C-Ray has one. They use it in their sample shop. We sell them to large companies for samples because it's a lot quicker to run a piece on this bander, on a small hot air bander, than it is to fire up a big machine, wait for it to heat up. That's another thing, you've got a heat up time, except for a cartridge machine.
Okay.
You've got a heat up machine on a glue pot machine that has pellets and has a hot pot on it. You're going to wait probably 20, 30 minutes for it to heat up.
So these machines would be maybe good to complement the bigger machines as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could
something to have
certainly
on hand
complement it. Yeah, we have a lot of people that come to talk to us at the show that are big facilities. They've got $80,000 banders, but they just want a small bander. If they want to make something quick,
There you
they
go.
don't want to get involved in, firing up that machine, getting it loaded with material and what have you.
Yep.
So we are talking smaller shops, smaller budget. The Veritech machine, in my opinion, is the best bang for the buck. It's probably the least expensive bander on the market, even though the price keeps going up because of the exchange of the euro right now, but it's
Okay.
the least expensive bander on the market that actually works and does what it says it does. They don't work all the time like anything else. They'll misfire once in a while. We've had customers at shows, and there's nothing worse than putting a board through it and it jams, but it happens.
Okay.
But it's like any other tool. You're going to have a problem with it.
I mean, we're talking $7,500, right?
Well, we don't
Roughly
generally
around
like to talk price because it dates us.
I understand.
Okay, but
Yep.
right now the unit is running around $7,500.
So, I mean, it's going to be in that range, give or, probably give, but it's going to be in that range. So that's something pretty affordable for smaller shops,
Right.
five-man shop,
And a lot, a lot of times,
make that money.
a lot of times guys will call me and they'll say, "Do you have any used banders?" And one word of advice that I have, and there'll be people that argue with me till the end that sell these:
Sure.
don't buy a used edge bander.
Yeah, because you don't know what they've done to the machine.
Well, the thing about a bander is that it's a very expensive piece of equipment, and most everybody that buys a bander buys the least expensive bander that they can to do the job that they want to do. So let's say they buy one that they need to apply half-inch wood.
Yep.
Okay? They're going to buy one that maxes at half-inch wood because that's the price level they want to be at.
Sure.
Then they're going to run that thing day in and day out to the maximum capacity, and it's going to be beat by the time it's sold.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you can't get a good deal on a used edge bander or that they're all junk, but in my opinion, it seems to be one of the machines that is probably abused
The most? Okay.
in a small shop or a large shop either. But
Oh, it makes sense.
So for the price of it, I mean, unless you're saving a bundle, I would stick with new. Whether you
Yeah.
buy it from us or you buy it from anybody else, buy an edge bander new with a warranty.
I mean, if I had a machine like that sitting around, I'd probably be doing all my mother, father, everybody, my whole family, doing all their closets and everything. And next thing
Yep.
you know it, you're going through bearings and this and that. So
Well, one of the funny things is I have a lot of people that have bought a bander, and they said, I don't know how we ever got along without it. We band 5 times more material than we used to
wow.
because they find a reason to use the machine.
Oh,
and it's
sure.
like it's easier. We can
Yeah.
just throw it on the machine.
Throw it on the machine.
So I think we're about ready for break, and after the break, we're going to get our EB25 up here on the show floor,
Cool.
and we're going to show how it works. So
Very
we'll be
good.
back in just a few minutes, I think, if we're ready to go to break. We'll be back. This is called Strike Hold, and this was it cleans, lubricates, and protects, as it says, but it's an amazing product. I have never seen anything like this. I don't even think it's up on our website, but it will be tomorrow. It does everything. It's just amazing. It does everything. It cleans, it lubricates. We had the threads on our planer were rusted, and we had to open it up to 6 inches, which you normally wouldn't do. And we sprayed it down with this stuff, and in 10 minutes it had eaten through all the rust, and it worked just perfectly.
I know, just by way of, I do quite a bit of shooting, and I read that you could use this for guns.
Right.
And I sprayed it down the bore of one of my pistols, and I was amazed. It immediately cleaned the bore out.
Yeah. Unlike any other product, it actually goes through the water. Other products like PB Blaster and things like that, if you fill them in a cup of water, they lay on top of the surface and they do nothing. If you actually put this in, this goes through the water and will eat a styrofoam cup like that.
How long does this last, though? I'm curious.
It lasts for 5 months on a non-moving part. So it'll waterproof for 5 months, like an electrical connection or things like that. But if it's something that's moving all the time, you want to just keep spraying it on a regular basis to keep it protected. Now, what we're going to do is very simply, we're going to spray.
Oh, you're a chicken, is what you. We did this earlier.
Well, all you do is you spray the surface good, okay, like that, and then you spray anything that's going to be.
Let me get that won't take the finish off of her chair, will it?
Spray the light bulb too. All right. Now you screw the light bulb together, and I'm just going to show you a simple test of this. You're going to see a really neat demonstration of this when the manufacturer comes in. So we have this. All right. Now this is regular water here, just like nothing special about it. And we're actually going to take that and drop it in the water.
Are we going to go offset?
Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Can you believe that?
Can you stick your finger in that water?
No.
Go ahead.
But isn't that amazing? All right, so, and then you could just take it apart. Now look at this. Watch this. A little bit of water on there. we go. Ready? Ready?
Thought we were going to have an Alcatraz moment.
Look at that. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, that is absolutely amazing. So imagine like, you know, like let's say your car, you know, if you drive an old clunker or something, and every time it rains, it runs bad. Just spray down the spark plug wires, distributor cap, all of that stuff with this, and it'll protect it for 5 months.
Well, now, big thing,
and
you and I had talked about this. For all of you guys that are field carpenters, you know, framers, guys, all that, if you take and you think of your tools that rust, the chucks on your drill,
just spray down everything in your toolbox with this stuff.
Router bit shafts, saw blades.
Once
again, all your tools, all the contact points, everything that deteriorates from, especially humidity down here in Florida, all along the Gulf Coast. But you know, anybody involved in the marine industry, carpenters, farmers.
If the lights go out, folks, you know what happens.
He couldn't leave well enough alone.
You know. I just wonder, you know, when
don't try this at home, by the way.
Right.
Not unless you have this.
When we when we do this on our show, when we actually get into doing this, I think maybe we'll see if we can put some goldfish in that bowl, and then show that there's no electrical discharge at all. Wouldn't that be cool?
I think it'd be cool if you put your foot in a bucket of water.
Amazing, just amazing.